Heavenly Father, Mother God, we call upon your holy presence in this moment. And we ask that this moment be the same as all moments, meaning that we call upon you eternally. You are the Alpha and the Omega to all that really is: love, life, light, peace, joy, oneness. We ask that you allow this to descend into our being and fill us so that we become the embodiment of all that is truth, all that is love. We ask that your peace and your presence fill us until our cup runneth over. And at that moment, guide us courageously on how to bring this light and love to all beings, throughout all time, throughout all dimensions and all places. We ask, in other words, to be the living embodiment of your presence so that we can proclaim, as you've asked us to, we can proclaim the kingdom of heaven is here now. And we're here to do our best to be an example of that presence so that the veil can lift far more easily off the eyes of others than it maybe has for us in our years of training to be your presence. And we give thanks that this has been many lifetimes of coming to this place. Many experiences where we chose to remember rather than forget. For all of this, past, present, future, there is no time. We give thanks. God's holy presence is in us, through us, as us. And so it is. Thank you.
From A Course in Miracles. Trials are but lessons that you failed to learn, presented once again. So where you made a faulty choice before, you can now make a better one, and thus escape all the karma and suffering that your previous choices brought to you. In every difficulty, all distress, and each perplexity, Christ calls to you and gently says, "My brother, choose again." He would not leave one source of pain unhealed, nor any image left to veil the truth. He would remove all misery from you, whom God created an altar unto joy. He would not leave you comfortless, alone, in dreams of pain, but would release your mind from everything that hides his face from you. His holiness is yours because he is the only power that is real in you. His strength is yours because he is the self that God created as his perfect holy child. And so it is. Please join me in saying our mission statement, which you can find on the white paper in the seat backs in front of you. We say together, the global center for Christ consciousness is the spiritual center for students and masters on the spiritual path. We are dedicated to awakening the inner Christ and to creating a world of love, peace, joy, and abundance. And so it is.
All right. If you don't mind, please share with me what topics you would like me to cover today. Rage? Yes. Rage, yeah.
Dying to the old self.
What is it?
Dying to the old self.
Okay,
Sustainable living.
one sec. Yeah.
Relationship between Christ and Krishna? Change.
Hold on one sec. What is it?
Change.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Okay, one second. What was that?
Daily annoyances.
I didn't say anything. One person here? Somebody said something? No? What is it? Thank you. What? What was it? Yeah, I had a feeling I heard that. Pregnant, okay. Quite a variety, ranging from rage and dying of the old to pregnancy, daily annoyances, the relationship between Christ and Krishna. You know, really, Krishna is, you know, the original civilization that some people don't know about and so on, Lemuria. Once upon a time, human beings were coming into the earth plane as ethereal beings. And I just realized I just launched into talking about Lemuria, and, you know, and there's some people that are like, wait, what? I got to remember, be sensitive, Michael. There's some people that don't know about these things. Yeah, right. So, which is going to fit under annoyances. One of you asked about annoyances. You know, it's funny because we know, it just feels so common, like we know this stuff now, but some people are like, it's so out there for some people. So, you know, we got to be sensitive to that, but that doesn't mean we hold back what we know to be true. And so we come to this earth plane as ethereal beings before we fall, the, you know, Garden of Eden. And the Garden of Eden tells us that there's a fall that takes place, and that's a story about mankind. And when the fall takes place, Adam and Eve are given skins to wear. It didn't mean, like we were taught, Tarzan skins, you know, Jane and Tarzan in the jungle. It meant we were given skin, you see? So when we fell in consciousness out of being ethereal beings, according to the Bible, made male and female in the image of God, ethereal beings without gender per se, we fall, and that fall makes us take on skins. What it also means is that we become dense beings. This is why Eve is told, you'll now have pain giving birth. Instead of just giving birth through consciousness, you'll now have a body that will go through pains to give birth. Man, you are going to struggle to gather foods for the day and so on. You're going to struggle to deal with it. When you hit your leg on something, you're going to bruise. This is what the Bible's telling Adam and Eve. Clearly, their bodies changed. And yet, to some people, this is going to sound way out there, but it's all there. And before it was in the Bible, it was actually understood through mythologies all around the planet. Mythologies are not fairy tales. That's different. Mythologies it was the right brain version of history kept by indigenous people all around the planet. So these things are known and understood. Krishna represents the story of Christ consciousness. The story, it's not about trying to get focused on a literal historic character as much as it's important to realize Krishna is talking to a character named Arjuna in the Gita, okay? And it's like the story is like saying, you know, there I was, and I'm struggling with how to deal with 3D life, and then Krishna comes into the picture, but it's like Arjuna is saying, I'm accessing my higher self. I'm talking to God or Christ before it's Jesus. I'm talking to God, I'm talking to Christ, and it's my guide. So the story of Arjuna in the Gita and Krishna is a story about how you and I could and should be able to call upon God to guide us in all kinds of stuff of day-to-day life. And you think, well, yeah, but does it tell you how to deal with divorce? Yes. It's called battle. Does it tell us how to deal with illness? Yes, it's called battle. So it uses the battleground as just a metaphor. But there's a lot more than just a metaphor of a battle there. But it is about how you can get so conflicted with making decisions. And Krishna's firm with Arjuna. Arjuna's going, you know, I have to make 3D decisions. Should or shouldn't I stay married? Should or shouldn't I enter that particular diet program? What should I do with this, that, and the other? And Krishna says to him, the fact that you're so conflicted means you're not in your higher self. The very fact that you and I have decisions to make and we don't know which ones to make, it shows that we're living in duality. Duality breeds hell. So don't expect things to go well when you think constant dualistic thinking. Rights and wrongs, Republicans and Democrats, males and females, up and down, left and right. You can't live in harmony and feel peace when you have duality because there's no peace. It's swinging one way or the other. There's no centeredness and peace. So Krishna's teaching us really profound lessons. And when he says the fact that you're so conflicted means you're not at peace. Now, strangely, thousands of years later, there's a book called A Course in Miracles that comes out, and Jesus uses the battlefield as a metaphor again. He's like saying, this, look at this place. This is a battlefield. He doesn't mean just war and between nations or whatever, although that applies. He's talking about inner conflict, the opposite of peace. So in A Course in Miracles, he's saying the following. Like Krishna, the fact that you think that there's two choices, now this is really deep. The fact that you think that you have two choices in any situation means you're already not at peace. Well, yeah, but I mean, we have to decide things. Do I use my bike to get to work today or my car? Do I watch this show or that show? And he's saying, I'm not wronging you for believing that you have decisions to make. But you don't understand, as Krishna was teaching, there's actually only one decision. Which one? No, you still said which. You're still doing dualistic. There's no which one, only one. Okay. Which one is the only one? And see, it never ends. Even that conflict never ends. Unless we learn to say, there's only one, the one that most resonates with inner peace or love or joy, whatever is your mantra, your personal word compass that guides you through life. And you might say, well, I don't have one of those. You're supposed to have one. Every human being should have one. In the Far East, they're called mantras. But you should have a compass word, a focus word. Edgar Cayce called it your ideal. But a focus word or two. That's it. It's not a sentence. It's not a mission statement. What is your primary centered word? What is the core in here that you would love to become? Not what you're already adequately doing in your life. What is it like the highest that you know? And it's supposed to be called a divine feeling. Peace, love, joy. You don't want to use the word like excited. Well, anything. A new tube of toothpaste arrived in the mail, and you might get excited about that. Oh, I got to try this. That's not your key word in God. It's a really profound sense of feeling, one you really want, you've tasted perhaps, and are ready for it. You want to make that your goal. But it's not just a goal, you have to live it. And how to live it becomes, even when you make day-to-day decisions. This is so profound. Day-to-day decisions ask what most resonates with your word, and you are what's called applying your spiritual principles. See, people read about principles, they don't know how to apply it. Human beings will say, I wish I knew what God wanted me to do. You do. What is your word? I don't have a word. Then don't say you wish you knew what God wanted you to do. God wants you to have a word. Have a word then. What is your focus? So by this, it's your compass through life. So you say, I wish I knew what God wanted. You do. Find your word. What is your word? Peace. Let's say it's peace. Now, if your word is peace and you have a decision to make, which it's not to say one's right, wrong. Just find out what resonates with this, and it now becomes the right decision and your only decision. You like that, huh? And then when somebody says the old proverbial down the road, no. I know that I was there and I made the decision that most resonated. That's all I need to know. Don't allow the what ifs and the could haves and should haves. If there's a could have and should, do it now. Bring it to the now, and if it resonates, then go with it. Now, there are at times exceptions to the rule. This will guide us through 90% of life and decisions. But there are slight exceptions. Like somebody might say, my words are peace and love. But I'm deciding about a divorce. And when I think about a divorce, that doesn't feel very peaceful, so I shouldn't do it. Really? Then why are we asking about a divorce? Because marriage doesn't seem to be working real well either. So you just tune in and say, when you think about marriage, when you think about divorce, which one most resonates? You have to add sometimes the words in the long run. Currently, divorce for anybody, quitting a job, could be very conflicting. I might have a shortage of income if I quit. So what is the most peaceful thing in the long run? I know that divorce can be challenging for a moment. Changing jobs, changing households can be challenging. You're looking for the long run. And it's very, very practical, because what you do, and it's a great exercise, is you sit with a decision you have to make. Let's say it's changing jobs. And you sit with this and you say, peace and love are my keywords. Now, you imagine first and foremost, not your decision, you go to your words first because it's the presence of God. So when you say, I wish I knew what God wanted, you do. When you make a decision that resonates with a divine feeling, you're making a decision that resonates with, you see what I'm saying? With God, because God is a divine feeling. Do what is love, and you're doing likely what is God's will, because God is love. So you have a decision to make. The technique is like this. You imagine peace and love. Call it in with a dozen breaths, and create this frequency in and around you. Now there's a space. I just created peace and love, really nice. Now you take in, let's say, because you think you have two decisions to make, you take this one over here, you drop it in, and you see how it resonates with peace and love. Everything about it, not just your opinions, pros and cons. New job, where it's located, the type of people I'll be working with, whatever is important to you, whatever is important, like the drive, it's 5 hours to get to work each day, needs to be in there. No chance for a raise ever, needs to be in there. Everything about it, not, yeah, but maybe that'll change someday. Hypotheticals aren't going to be helpful. Just really be honest. This is how it feels. And then, okay, overall, how'd you do with that? Did it resonate to peace and love? On a 0 to 10 scale, how'd you do? It's about a 6, okay? You bring in the other one. You drop it in and you get a feeling for it. Now see, some human beings are already checking out. They're not going to want to hear this. You know why? Because they want to be miserable. They want to not know what direction to go. Otherwise, they won't know what to talk about. You know, I got to, what am I going to do if I don't have that to talk about? Or I don't know which job to take. And your friends, trust me, they don't want to hear it anymore. You've been talking about how much you hate your job for 16 years. They're like, geez, try something else. Let me pinch you and give you something new to complain about. They're done. Just try something else. And I'm serious. Humans get in the program. They're addicted to being in pain. So it gets a little like awkward that trying the new, but do it anyway. Peace, that new job, that other second option, peace, love. Wow, yeah. But there's less pay, but it resonates. It's just love and peace. Now, if your word is abundance, then the job that pays less might not be the right job for you because you draw it in here and you drop it in and you say, it does not resonate much with abundance and self-worth. I'm going to be paid less. You see what I'm saying by that? All of the factors fairly brought in, evenly, equally brought in, and let that become something you sit with. And then you make a decision. Whatever it is, which publisher to go with, if you've written a book, or to write a book or not. Does it resonate? It's very, very beautiful and very practical, very applicable. We mentioned this briefly last week. Joseph Campbell used follow your bliss. So his word was bliss, and that's how he made decisions in his life. But that's for him. That's different than you. Whatever your words are, and Krishna tried to drive this home with Arjuna, you've got to find your center and know. Just do the next right thing and stick to that. If you don't know, just at least do the next right thing. Pray to hear the voice of God, which Arjuna was able to do in that, little story there. But you have to be careful. There's something, a saying we've all heard, be careful what you ask for. This is really, really important because who's asking? If it's just the needy you, who do I date? Which person should I date? And then you're like, I don't understand. I tried out both of them. And neither of them worked. I think you were coming at it with, I'm desperate, I'm needy. Which one? Well, is going to bring you what? A date? They both succeeded. They both worked out for what you were asking for. Or are you saying, I am conflicted? Own it. I'm conflicted. Part of me wants nothing but real love and integrity and joy in my life. And another part's like, anybody will do. I'm desperate. I'm lonely. I would sort out that conflict before I decide to push the button called manifest my next partner. Because whatever state of mind you're in, it's going to carry over. That's what happens with creations, things that we manifest and so forth. Our stuff gets in the way and it filters in. Then you start to think, oh God, that's great. So I have to be perfect first? No. Just be willing to date imperfections because they stem from you, you see? It's okay. Just date. They don't have to be perfect, but then grow that relationship and work on patience and love and cooperation and intimacy issues and whatever else. Don't assign somebody the one and only perfect always kind of role. You know, and one of you used that word laughter, lighten up. You know, don't take it so seriously. Oh no, it's got to be, because when I go down that aisle, I want it to be once. You've already failed at that. First of all, you've walked up the aisle in other lifetimes, so you're already not new at this. True, but lighten up. You know, it's okay. I mean, a couple should be at the altar going, you know, will you promise to be perfect forever? You know, you should kind of wink at each other, for about 2 minutes. And then, you know, I mean, when I walked up the aisle, I didn't even make it off the stage without realizing how crazy I was for walking up the aisle or whatever. And I don't mean that literally, no diss to the gal I married at the time. But when I went up there and they asked us to light these candles, you know, ceremony, right? I had hot wax pour off the candle onto my hand. So I was up there, you know, I had hot wax pour all over. And you know, I'm like, trying to restrain, you know, but yeah, you know, there it goes. Like these metaphors of life, the parts of us that are going, don't do it. And we don't listen. But in all honesty, as a human being, I'm very glad I did it. I found a good friend, and we found each other to get ourselves out of our family households. And for that, good deal. It was a good arrangement. And there's another part of me that knows differently. We can learn everything the easy way or the hard way. The easy way is when we learn to follow that compass. Peace. And you know what's interesting about the struggle is peace and joy is my compass. Joy is my compass. That's a book title by Alan Cohen, who's a wonderful teacher and author. Joy is my compass. That's another way of saying the same thing. Have some sort of compass, whatever that thing is. But it should be a divine feeling, but one that you resonate with. It's yours. What's best for you? When you do that as your resonance, as your compass, everything else starts falling in place. A Course in Miracles puts it, when you decide where you're going, meaning your compass, everything, the curriculum will fall into place. So when you start to develop something, because you could say peace and joy are my compass, but you have to believe you deserve peace and joy. What if love and self-worth are your words? Oh, I like that. I'm going to go with love and self-worth. Congratulations. But there's two sides to this. Love and self-worth, or whatever words you choose, become your compass, but it also means the universe says, and we'll test you on that. Do you really have love and self-worth as your goal? No, I just meant theoretically. That's not going to go over well. Be careful what you ask for. Total oneness with all beings, really? Let's start with your neighbor. Let's start with your boss at work. You'll find all the annoyances because you want to be one with all, you see? So it's be careful. And I'm not saying don't choose these words. I'm saying take responsibility. If you're going to choose love and self-worth, the stuff that isn't love and self-worth in your life is going to have to show up to be tested. Because it isn't like you say love and self-worth. God comes in, flies in, removes while you're sleeping all of your issues, and you just wake up totally alive with love and self-worth. It's actually us. We have to walk through the tests related. Now, the good news is you then increase an integrated, real sense of love and self-worth. It's yours now. How do we know? Because you've been tried and tested. You've been put in the fire, and the base metal was turned to gold. But there's a lot of base metal you have to burn before you find the gold. And the gold, though, becomes my new consciousness. So it's okay that you've done 500 relationships. It's okay that you were sleeping around, you tried drugs, alcohol, codependence, whatever. It's all okay, because hidden behind it, which I mentioned last week, hidden behind is the search for God. Well, you can't be true, man. I was doing I was a sniper. That's not a search for God. It actually is. Everything conceals our search for God. And it either reveals a easy way, loving search, or the hard way, painful. Some people are searching for God and they don't feel it, so they take it out on others. That doesn't mean it isn't a search for God. Do you get what I just said there? It's still a search for God. The way they're doing it, is it gentle? Is it loving? No. Respectful? No. Probably not legal. But it's still a search for God, which is how A Course in Miracles, of course, uses the terms, it's love or a cry for love. It's the same way of saying the same thing, just slightly different. Learning to be patient with people that aren't speaking that request gently. Some people will not come to you and say, I don't know you, but I have a feeling you can introduce me to God. That's not the way they'll always word it. Some days they might say, I hate the way you parked your car over at Safeway. I don't feel very safe at this Safeway. The way you parked your car, you're leaning into the one side too far, and I'm thinking your door's going to ding mine, et cetera, et cetera. And you're probably not responding from your highest self either. Beloved brother, sister, I hear what you're saying. Did you know this is really a call and a cry for God? And I'm going to be that presence for you. In fact, I'm going to get in my car and gently move it. You flag me, you tell me exactly where it's safest, even if it's the next parking lot. I will move my car because you are really crying for God. And I want to be that answer for you today. It's probably not going to go that way. It almost never does. And if I want to step into a new life, one of you asked, dying of the old, then I have to die of the old life. What do you want? Love and self-worth. Then you have to die of the unloving and low self-worth. Yeah, but low self-worth, it's really ingrained. I understand. And you're choosing self-worth. Changes are going to have to be made. So now when you go to make a decision and your compulsion is to do whatever's going to make them happy because you have low self-worth, but you say, wait, love and self-worth, and I hold it and I drop that energy in and it doesn't resonate to do what they're asking me to do. You're going to have to risk that they will disapprove and they might even exit your life. Well, I don't want that. Then go back to low self-worth and let's forget this conversation. Well, I don't want that. Well, what do you want? Make up your mind. There's no two. There's no duality. What do you want? God or not? But whatever you're going to choose and own that you've chosen that. You don't want the low, you don't want the low self-worth, let it go. Let's move. You want the low self-worth? Well, I don't want it. It's just that I can't get over it. That's an affirmation. And so it is. So you're going to have that. But I wish I didn't. Thanks for sharing. But you're going to have that until the day you decide, die well of the old and allow the new. Allow the new to enter. Make room, I call it, like gardening. Get the rocks and weeds and things out of the garden so you make room for the new. And we're the gardeners. We can't go, God, make room for the new now. And God's going to go, oh, okay, I'm good. How are you doing? Well, I still have stuff in there, apparently. Yeah, I'd work on that if I were you. God will not remove the value we put on the rocks and weeds in our garden. God's going to say, well, if I were you, I'd take those out. Well, no, you do it. I don't have the rocks and weeds. You do. So remove them. Take responsibility. But do remember, man, you've got to be careful what you ask for, whatever the case may be. I just want peace. Okay, here we get ready. And I'm not saying you have to affirm all kinds of negative tests are coming. All I'm saying is don't be surprised by it. Try to even be encouraged by it. If you're asking to learn patience and some things come up, it's easy to complain about the lessons related to patience. But sometimes just go, oh, good one. Yeah, that was a good one. That's flew in under the radar, man. I didn't see that one come. Because I was all ready. I'm going to work on patience, so it's going to be, I know who that's going to be about. And you're trying to control it, and it ends up being not your worst enemy, your best friend. One of the strangest things, and I've said many strange things, one of the strangest things I've ever said that people are like, what? Is I say, listen, partnerships are like joining the mafia, okay? And people are immediately like, how could he possibly tie the mafia into this? Listen, because in the mafia, the person they assign to be your best friend is the one they will use to kill you when it's time. You see, it's true. See, it is like, see, now you're like, oh, it is like relationships. Because the person you assign to be your beloved, which is by all means, it's not just because you're kind of attracted to their hairstyle. You draw them in. One subconscious reasoning for partnerships is those are going to be the people that will never do what the other people did. They're the answer. Or why else would you want them? Marry them and partner. We like them. But I'm saying there's good karma. There's good things about it. I'm saying subconsciously we assign to relationships, which is why they crash and we hurt so badly when they end, because we had codependent assignments on them. Please, whatever you do, don't ever be like that. My father cheated on my mom. I need a partner that will never cheat. Whatever the assignments, they're coming from past wounds. I see only the past. So you meet somebody and you assign all these things to them. And instead, we have to liberate them. I'm really sorry I could see where I have all these projections and assignments on you. And retire those. Just say, I'm changing. I'm dying of the old and I'm changing into a new person. And I want to find out if you want to get to know that new me, not the one that gave you assignments. But I also want to know if you want to die of the old self and I want to get to know the real you. Of course, most of us are going to say, but I don't even know the real me. True. Tell your partner that, because that's true partnership. I don't know. Neither do I. You want to find out? Sure. Let's walk. And then you're walking through stuff together, but you're not walking through a fake world. A fake, like where it's assignments. I need you to tell me how wonderful I am. Some people marry individuals because of how the ego strokes from them. I married them because they said I was cute. Nobody ever told me that. I married them because they said I was so intelligent. I never even thought that I was smart at all. But they really made me feel valuable. Now that sounds good. Go to a counselor. I found a partner. They really make me feel valued. Most counselors are going to say that's good, and it isn't. It's nice of them, but this is a mafia hit waiting to happen. Oh, that's weird. And I don't mean to be pessimistic. What I'm saying is, too late, huh? But I am saying, hold on to that assignment, and it's codependence. Needing someone to do that is codependence. It's really nice when we can look at each other and say, I love you, I do. I love you beyond all the little words and the roles I can play. I could be monogamous for you and show you love that way. I could be a great cook and show you that way. I can do all those things and kind of make you love me. But I want you to know that I love you beyond all those actions. I still will do the actions. But the love I feel it's unspeakable. Say that to a person. To say it's beyond the measure, it's beyond the duties and obligations, it's beyond the vows we took on the altar. Share like heartfelt and including, but I'm scared. Part of me is afraid. I love this partnership, and I was cheated on a couple times in my life, and so I need this to be like real, like steady. I don't want that happening again. But I got to tell you, I'm afraid of it. And your partner can say, I'm capable of anything, instead of, oh, I would never. I'm capable of anything. Like any human being, I make mistakes. I do not see that. I do not see the possibility of that. And I'll promise you this, if ever there's even an inkling of that, we will talk about it. Can I count on you to be honest? You see, all you can do is the best you can. But retiring the roles of things you can't do. It's honesty. Let each other know what you truly are capable of, the negatives, and put them on the altar and say, but I'm willing to let this go, right? No secrets. I don't believe in that. I mean, we all have them to some degree, but it's really beautiful when you can say, no, and I'm not talking about cruel, radical versions of honesty, because some people made that a bit of a thing in this world. Oh, you got to just tell everybody what you really think of them. Now there's these new agers walking around going, I hate your hair, but I'm just being honest with you. It's coming from my inner being. No, it isn't. The inner being is your ego, and you're finding ways to pick on people And they have no hair. You want to come from your inner self? They don't have hair. They don't have bodies. So tell them how glorious they are because you saw their light. Right? That's the real stuff. You know, picking on people and calling it anything remotely good, it's not. It's just another excuse. So get to a place of pure love. You know, just my fears are my fears, and here's what they are. Everybody should know that about each other. It's certainly partners and good friends. What are your deepest fears, and what are your greatest aspirations? Somebody could say, I've always wanted to do this, and your partner's like, I've been with you for 20 years, and I never knew that. I think those are great moments of revelation, right? The whole notion, two or more gathered. Why did we get that? Where two or more are gathered. Well, but I'm by myself. That means no God when I'm alone. Two or more could be you and God. It just means come together with somebody in agreement. Come together with somebody in healthy intention, like honesty, even a business associate. Honesty and love. Not just the negatives, quote unquote, of what you don't like, and be honest and tactful about it, but also come together in love. You know, you have a business associate, tell them what you appreciate about them and never run out of ways to say that and reasons to say that. This concept of where two or more are gathered, but it's also the Bible telling us about joining two people, marriage, for example, partnership, but any kind of partnership. Two join as one is another way of wording two or more. Two joined as one. And we thought it meant a male only gender, female only gender, and these two shall be brought together and become one. It makes sense because you got the body parts of one that fits into another. And you have two genders. Oh, look, it's all making so much sense. And the two, gotta have two. What if you die single? I'm sorry for you. But tell them when you get to the gates of St. Peter, tell them what their parting gifts are. Well, you get loneliness forever. You know, the MC of the talk show or the game show. Is that it? No. It meant when two become one, when each of them become healthier, they can come together. But when two become as one, when each becomes as one, instead of thinking of themselves as half a person and finding another half, now all you did was confirm that you're half a person. I feel better about it because I have another half a person. I mean, I hope you get the visuals I get because this is like sci-fi looking, you know, a creature. Oh, my missing half. Oh, my missing half. And they come together. Oh, I feel so much more complete, except I can't go anywhere, you know, like a two-headed beast of some kind. Well, what if it meant when two each become as one, now you have a holy relationship. You're not coming there to take, to get, or the give and take concept. No, you're there to bring who you are. That's the healthy relationship. Now, I'm not here to take anything from you. I'm not here to get anything. I feel abundant enough in my connectedness to God. I'm not perfect, you would say, but I definitely know where I'm going. More of God, more of love each day. Here are some weaknesses of mine, and here are my goals and aspirations. Here are mine, and here are my great. Does that feel resonant? Yes. You have two people, each focusing on becoming whole and complete of themselves, joining together, and absolutely it becomes magical. Because you don't enter it, where we started minutes ago, you don't enter it already, bless you, feeling lack, feeling incomplete. It's dangerous to approach a relationship saying, hi, I'm a giant void, looking for love of any kind. Would you be able to take care of that? And any dealer would say, I got just the thing for you. Whether they're dealing codependence, drugs, or whatever else. So watch what you ask for. And I don't mean be paranoid. I'm just saying watch what you ask for. Be aware. Love and self-worth. These are my compass. This is where I'm going. Decision-making partner, a person shows up, I'd like to date you. Do they resonate with love and self-worth? And it's not always easy to choose love when you have easy over here. This is peace. It's a higher calling. So you want spiritually easy, not materially sleazy. You want spiritually easy. What easily resonates without going, yeah, but, right? When you have to add that, okay, I feel alone, but I'm ready to attract a partnership. Okay, oh, wow, they look good. They're so attractive. And then your girlfriend says, oh, I know them, and they have technically 5, maybe 6 restraining orders on them from previous partnerships. I think I can help them with that. I think I can change them. Now listen, when you have to start talking or thinking, when you're weighing it and you have to start talking or thinking, I did this with a car once as a young person, you know. It was like, okay, wow, this is a cool, I love this, I've always wanted. And when I had to start going, now, if I just eat less and save an extra $10 on groceries per month, when you have to start thinking or talking yourself into it, I would back off. I had a job as a kid, as assistant teacher in an elementary school and preschool too. I loved it, made absolutely almost no money whatsoever. But I never, not once in this couple of years, thought, I wish I had a different job. I went with love, and it didn't make sense financially. And I had to take the hit from people once in a while. Why don't you get a real job? Well, all I knew was I loved it. I did. I really knew that I loved it. Every day I went to the school, the kids loved me. I loved them. It was fun. It was like, you know, I'm supposed to help them and occupy them and get them, you know, outside and breathe and exercise, and just had fun. But it resonated, but it made nothing. Whatever it was, $2 something an hour, you know. I sound like I arrived at work in a stagecoach or something, but it was a long time ago. But I could honestly say, if I die tomorrow and am asked about that, with absolute certainty, no 50-50, loved it. Any regrets about it? No, none. I did feel the pangs of not having a lot of money. Was that okay? It is okay. Not just was, it is. I would do it again, but I don't need to, because I've learned the appropriate lessons to know you can have prosperity and do what you love. But as a kid, I was taught you can't have both. Prosperity is going to be jobs you don't want to do. Me in a high rise in New York, picture that? Do I look like I could handle that? No, it's not my thing. Was I going to be, you know, a brain surgeon? No, there's no capacity for that in here. What was I going to do? I don't know. Nothing. All I know is I want to help people. And people are going, oh, we're sorry. You want to help people. That doesn't really make a lot of money. And I'm like, really? Okay. Bummer. And so I was brought up that that's the truth. It's not true. You can have your cake and eat it. You can thrive and be prosperous doing what you love. But you got to first figure out who you are before you know what you love. And then you got to be true to that. You know, so we have these, it's not God that tests you. Please remember that. It's not God that says, you said you wanted love, so we're going to put you to the test. Guys, this is ourself walking ourselves through these tests. We're refining ourselves. Yeah, you have angels, but they're walking you through it. They're not forcing you. We were never forced into this life or any other to deal with bad things because they were in the mood. You're going to be a brunette in this lifetime, and you know what? We're just curious how brunettes handle this. It's not like victimization like that. Males, females, it's perfect. Every hair, freckle, everything is in perfect place based on who you believe you are and therefore what you need to learn or heal or to express what you have learned or healed. That's it. Everything. You don't have your mother's ears. What, is she earless? You don't have your mother's ears. They're yours. You chose a mother who would have those ears that reflect your lessons, but they're your ears. You can't have your father's nose. You can't have so-and-so's, your grandfather's this and that. They're all perfect. You chose a family that would have these general things because this is what you're about. If you needed to come in with Mediterranean features, you borrowed a Mediterraneanly genetic family to get those features. It's not all about those people. as much as we think. It's the general setting. You're borrowing parents. You see, it's all about your growth. When you die and go to the other side, they don't say, did you enjoy playing poker with your dad? And did you do this? They're not going to say, stitching. Did you learn stitching from your grandma? It's not the details it's all about love. Did you come out of there loving yourself and others? God, self, and others, love. Did you get that? Well, everybody except that person and that person. Excellent. We found that in your files. They're called the Akashic Record files. We got that. And it's right here, and we have exactly the right assignment for your next lifetime. Well, I really want to avoid that person. Please be careful what you ask for. Because the more you want to avoid them, the more it intensifies our assignment for that person. Yeah, I hated that one neighbor. And you're going to go down the aisle and say, I do next lifetime with that person. But don't forget, there's also gifts. You also get to walk down the aisle or say I do, or partner or whatever, with people that you have deserved each other in a good way because of the good work you've done. Never forget that. Whether it's gifts or challenges, they are based on your consciousness. Give yourself thanks. Give yourself a pat on the back when you go, I have to say, man, I landed my soul's purpose type of job or partnership or whatever. Beautiful. You have to have earned that. So give thanks for it. It isn't God tempting you. It's, are you feeling peace? Good. That means you did good work around the concept of peace. You're feeling conflict and angst. That's where you felt. In fact, that was our reading this morning. Lessons are just things we missed last time, and they're coming around to get done right this time. I'm paraphrasing. Be careful what you ask for. Teach only love, for that is what you are, A Course in Miracles says. Which basically means if you realized that you are the embodiment of love, that's all you could put out. It would just, all that would come from you would be love, more patience, more joy. But A Course in Miracles also tells us this. When you're going to make changes in your life, the ego is here in our mind somewhere. It's like a software program. So when you say, I'm going to make changes in my life, it's really far safer to make little incremental shifts so that you don't crash and go through too many lessons all at once. Is that reasonable? Okay. The downside, A Course in Miracles tells us, when you make little incremental change, like let's say you want to go from 0 to 10 on a scale. And I'm going to do 1 this year. 2, maybe it'll take me 2 years. 3, I'll do it in 6 months. 4, I'll do 5 years on that one, right? And if I don't make it, come back and do 6, 7, like that. Little incremental changes so that you're never too disturbed. But A Course in Miracles tells you that if you do it this way, your ego will adjust to each step and try to mess you up and bring you back down to 0. Because your gradual incremental changes, the ego will adapt like the sick virus that it is. Well, then what do? Go for it. Just go for it. Now, not dangerously, but try to make some changes as inspired, yes, but as full on as possible. It's okay. Just rip the Band-Aid off. But I'm going to tell you, I personally will say, but if you feel today's incremental needs are better, go with that. You staying safe and sane is more important than proving that you've got A Course in Miracles or Krishna down pat. Krishna's just let's go to battle. I mean, it can get weird reading this story of Krishna. It can get really weird because he's like, just shoot arrows. If it's not meant to hit anybody, it won't. Think about that. He's like, what do you think you're in charge of who the arrow hits? It's all in the hands of God. Start just shooting arrows. Wow. Could you imagine that person in battle somewhere like just ping, ping, ping. Go with God, arrow. Go with God. And to the other side, I surrender all your souls ahead of time. Sucks to be you if this hits you. I mean, really? Wow. That's out there. But very deep to really, truly understand what it means. Be careful what you ask for. And I love that one of you asked about the daily annoyances. That's it. The daily annoyances, if you just barely work on one, the ego will just adjust and never let you find the peace that results from significant changes in your life. Be careful what you ask for. I'm saying it over and over for a reason. You know, if you ask for patience, you know the story, then you get tested with more patience. But if you ask to embrace, I want to discover my sexuality more, be careful what you ask for, because you could attract unhealthy as well as healthy. Get yourself committed to healthy decision making, and you attract something a little more resonant to that. Is that all making sense? We have to really, really be careful with this. You know, I want to be healthier. I want to, whatever decisions, they sound reasonable. Just remember what goes along with it. I want to be more spiritual, so I'm going to meditate every day. Well, that's fine. But then now you're meditating and you find you get headaches when you meditate. So then you come to me and you say, Michael, I have a problem. I'm trying to meditate and I get headaches. So I stopped meditating. Watch what you ask for. So you have to realize you started meditating, it starts moving energy. And the energy will find places that aren't open in your body, and it will build up tensions there. And you'll get a headache. It's not right. If I'm trying to meditate, I shouldn't get headaches. True, but you're on earth, so it works this way. You seem to have a body, wherever there's a vertebra out of place, the energy will hit and start backing up, like damming up. And you go, God, I just got all this stuck energy. Something's happening in here. I get it. Don't assume it's that meditation. Meditation is causing it, but it isn't causing it. Meditation is just showing it to you. Careful what you ask for. You want to meditate every day? Also, get your spine aligned once in a while. Get massaged once in a while. Do yoga, stretch, open up a little bit more. You see what I'm saying? With every one of these things that show up, adapt yourself and keep going. Adapt and find a flaw and back off. I don't think I'm ever going to date again because, you know, somebody last year broke my heart. The never again, you don't need that. You don't need any of the self-sabotage statements. Instead, see what's happening, absorb what you can learn from it, and move forward again. The ego will try to make you crash with each step of the way and then cause you to go and retreat backwards. Have enough spiritual courage to say, man, I'm here to go for it. I'm afraid of rage, one word that you brought up. Being afraid of rage doesn't mean stuff it. Talk about it. Find exercises to work that out. You come to a lesson, work through it, and keep going. I understand that sometimes they're hard enough, heartbreak, for example, that makes you want to give up and retreat. This proves I should never have tried that. That isn't the voice of God. Does it sound like peace? Does it sound like love? Does it sound like self-worth to say, I guess I'm just not meant to have a partner? That's not the voice of God. The voice of God will say, I love you. What would you like to experience today? Well, I'd like to experience this, but no. As soon as you say that, then, but here's what we're going to get instead. Let me guide you to a better life and a better life. Use my heart as your compass. Follow love and you'll get more love. Follow peace and you will find more peace. Well, I tried that last week, but peace ended up with my partner leaving me. I understand. You said you wanted to have a great relationship, and the one you had left. Didn't I say, watch what you ask for? You could have said, I want to have a new relationship with a dysfunctional person. That wouldn't make any sense, would it? So when you said, I want new, it meant some casualties. Some things have to go. Be careful, and I say this and I'm going to close here. Please remember, whatever you're swearing to, whatever you're saying I'm ready for, even if it's discipline to your children that are out of control or that, whatever, and you say, here are the new rules, you better stick to that, or it was better not to give rules at all. Second to overt abuse. The second worst thing that parents can do to children is contradict one another. Tell them here's the rules and not enforce them, you're actually damaging them. Stick to the boundaries or don't even talk about them. Well, because I was going to, and what? And then they looked at me like they were sad. So I couldn't follow through. Man, don't get a dog, you know. Don't get it, because, man, they'll look at all the time, that little puppy dog look, you know, and then you're going to be like, I give. Whatever it is you want, be prepared. Not just the challenges, be prepared. What is your compass? Think about this in your life. What is your compass? Love and self-worth are two words that are probably in the top two most common pair of words I ever recommend to people in sessions that I've done. Love and self-worth. Peace and healing for people that have been through a lot of abuse, but love and self-worth, very powerful. Don't come up with something like cosmic revelation. Do you know what that is? Not really, but it sounded cool. No. Find something that is a divine feeling that seems so natural, and it just really moves your heart to say, oh my God, to feel love and oneness. Wow, that's probably going in the right direction. But remember, the words are applied through your day-to-day decision making. Okay? And every time you come up to that, what do you want to come from this? Peace. You can go to battle and ask for peace. You can go to divorce and ask for peace. You can choose to set healthier boundaries with your children and ask for peace. You don't think that giving in to everybody is how you get peace, because it isn't. Peace in the long run is sometimes teaching the children boundaries when they're young. Sometimes it is saying no to a partner. That's not okay with me. I don't feel peace immediately, but in the long run, I now have a greater sense of integrity, and that's starting to feel better for me. The trick is sometimes these are meant in the long run. So don't just ask for immediate, because that's excitement. That's instant pleasure, instant gratification. You're looking for a total sense, the greatest sense of peace I can bring into my life, or love or joy or whatever it is. Okay? Please take a few centering breaths. We'll spend just a few minutes with a prayer, visualization, meditation, and then our closing prayer for today. Begin with searching your mind, your soul. What is it you would like to achieve in your life? Not your keyword yet, just an achievement, partnership, sobriety, more income. What is really dear to you? What is your wish? And then allow it to come to your mind. Are there any challenges with trying to attain this? What kinds of things might I not want to do or like to experience if I set my goal and set my course to achieve this thing? If I want sobriety, for example, I might go through withdrawals. I might lose friends that like to party. But instead of running away from that challenge, just sit with it for a moment. Be honest. If I want a healthy relationship, I might have to ask my current partner to go to a counselor with me. And they'll say no, or they might say this or that. Stop, just own it. Whatever the changes you want in your life, look at what might happen. How it might cause you challenges. I want a nicer garden outside, then maybe you have to do more gardening. And then choose your compass, your focus word, a God or divine feeling, peace, love, joy, oneness, love and self-worth, peace and happiness. Pick a word or two. And hear that as you breathe. Hear the words as you breathe in and let them swell your heart like it's coming from the heavens through your head into your heart. swelling and completely filling your heart with peace, joy, whatever the words are. And then exhale and let it wash through your body, every cell, bathed in that peace and that joy. A few more times, gently, slowly, truly fill up. This is like a prayer that's being answered at the same time that you pray it. You're calling this in. I'm calling in the presence of God in the form of peace, joy, love, oneness. And exhale each time, and so it is, and let it wash over you, and to do it again a couple more times. And then go back and look at the thing you said you wanted and the thing you had to change or give up to get it, the thing that might seem inconvenient. And weigh them according to your keywords and see if they hold any weight. Maybe the thing you want doesn't even resonate with peace and joy, so choose to let it go. Yeah, but let it go. It would be only something better could come. Trust. Have faith in God. Or you do want that thing, but you were challenged with the thing that was going to inconvenience you. Look at that in the light of your compass, and maybe that's what will fall away. Maybe your wish stays, but the work, the challenge falls away in the light of peace. You'll either end up with some or all of this, or none of this remaining. Just the feeling of God, love. But let the light of God disperse any of the stuff that's irrelevant when you're empowered. And lastly, if any or all of this has fallen away, what would the light of God now inspire you to do instead? If you needed to replace any of the parts, the wish or the work for it, what would the presence of God inspire you to do instead? A different goal? A different project? Alterations to your goal? Whatever it is, it's beautiful because now you're receiving what's called an inspiration rather than a compulsion. Rather than wishing, hoping, it becomes calm and inspired, easier to attain. If it involves little micro adjustments, so be it. If I can jump far ahead into it, great. Just let it remain inspired. What we're achieving is called in the Bible the pearl of great price, meaning how much would you be willing to give up to attain something that is so blissful? And human beings have to learn. I'll give up anything. God first. And we give thanks, Father, Mother, God, that we're able to call upon you for inspiration related to direction in our life. We choose no longer to be torn between dualities. Why bother? We have the ability to call upon you, and in a form of a feeling word, a divine feeling, it tells us which decision is most right for us. Thank you for reminding of this to us today, reminding us about this. Thanks for reminding us that it could be this easy to feel that presence. Please continue giving us the courage to know this is the truth of God. and that God's presence is attainable and, in fact, is our right. And it's inevitable. So we choose it today. And so it is. Gently and slowly integrate back into the room. There's a generally considered a Buddhist story, just briefly, and it's the one where a student goes to his master and says, "Master, I want to know God. I want to have a great life and know God and feel bliss and so on. I want to attain enlightenment, awareness, awakening. How do I do that?" And after asking and showing he really wants this, the master takes him out like a baptism, out into a lake, and he submerges. And, and the disciple, the student, the chela, is kind of like, this is going to be cool, like a cosmic baptism. It's going to be really cool, and I'll probably see sparkles of light, all kinds of cool. And the master submerges him, and then he's sitting there, and he's trying to I'm meditating underwater. This is amazing. And then there's, nothing happening, and he's sitting underwater. And the master's holding him, and he's starting to want air, and the master's holding him under, and pretty soon he's starting to, react a little and struggle a little and try to come up, and the master holds him under, and finally lets him break the surface, and he's breathing. And the master says, when you want God that badly, you'll have it. And it's the same principle. Don't just say you want enlightenment or anything else. Are you willing to walk the path that gets you to that? I want love, but I'm going to now. Romance now. The concept of romance now already implies that this probably isn't going to go well because there's compulsion and addiction behind it. Be careful what you ask for. I want sobriety now. Oh, really? Okay. Don't drink right now. Are you sober? Yes, I am. No, you're not. Because you can't be sober, and sober, it means something. The word, I sobered up. What do you think that means? It doesn't just mean I don't drink. It means my mind is starting to clear up. How did that happen? Because I'm getting to know myself through steps. Oh, you mean work? Could I join a one-step program of some kind? I don't want to do 12. Is that God speaking? God wouldn't want me to have to do 12. God wouldn't want you to be in a body drinking either. But you're doing it, so you probably need 12 steps. Oh, my God. Anyway. Anybody want to share what they learned or heard today that made the most sense to them? Most valuable to them in your life or in the lives of people around you? How can you bring this to them? Yes?
The pearl of great price requires.
The pearl of great price. It's a test, like I would sell everything to buy this, incredibly valuable gem, let's say. It's a metaphor for I would give up all my ego stories and limiting belief systems to get to the truth of God, like the guy wanting air. How badly do you want this? Absolutely. And I remember being a kid, honest to God. I don't know if this was in middle school, but I know it was in high school. And I remember I felt like when I'm talking, because I look a certain way, I looked younger than some kids. I had a little baby features, boyish features. So people weren't going to take me seriously. I just had a look that people just thought assumptions or whatever about me. And I was frustrated with that. Like I know that I've got something to say, but they're not able to hear it because I look too young to know anything. And that continued probably into my early 20s even. But I remember the thought in like high schoolish, I need to disfigure myself. And this is because I read about a nun in a Buddhist story, a nun who wanted to become a Buddhist, and the masters kept turning her away and said, you're too tempting, you're a beautiful woman, your hair's a bit, and your face, and this and that. So she disfigured herself and went back to the monastery to get in. Now, of course we don't have to literally disfigure ourselves. Of course you don't have to give all your money away to prove that you're not selfish, guys. We go too far. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to work triple shifts to deserve credit at work. Stop, that's the literal. And the monk woman did not need to disfigure herself. We don't need to do things on the outside to prove. All I'm saying, there was a part of me that said to myself, that's how serious I am about this. What is getting in the way? Now, Jesus says it in another form. If your eye sins, pluck it out. He doesn't mean literally. He doesn't mean literally. If your hand offends thee, cut it off. He doesn't mean we should all walk around like this. He doesn't mean literally. It's a metaphor of whatever's getting in your way, heal it. Let it go. So I had, there's all these rude people going, you're too young to know anything. And I used to hear those words. You're too young. And I would be hurt. Isn't it kind of rude of them to say that? But they were actually mirroring who? My own doubts. I thought, I'm looking in a mirror. I got to do a talk at some major center today, and I'm all 18 or 20 or whatever. And I look like Chachi, my little brown hair and kind of boyish features, I had that issue. And it went away the day I got over it. So whatever you have in your mind that might be holding you back, oh, I'm a woman, I'm a this, I don't care what it is, race, gender, whatever. As soon as we stop believing in it, it'll go. We're not subject to these things like we think we are. We have to heal our minds of these beliefs, and then they go. One day, I know in the world they say, don't use certain words because they're offensive, whether it's about sexual preferences or whatever it is, race and all that. Don't use these words. So now you have one group saying, we don't like being told what we're not allowed to say. Agreed? You've heard that? And then another group saying, you mustn't say these, and they'll overly shame you, and these people will overly defend. They each have their place. You know what I know? Is there'll be the day that we won't even do it because we're not interested in saying those words. Do you follow what I mean by that? It won't be because they told you, and it won't be because you're fighting back for your rights to say whatever you want. No, we just won't be doing that. There would be no purpose to it. Why would I have a slang term for somebody's sexual preferences? What do I care? They're just a person. Their race, I didn't even notice. To get to that place, both of them, the world wants duality. So it takes a topic that we will find peace with one day, and it makes it dualistic so peace never comes. You and I, we each have our choice to get to this place on our own. And don't think it's a place of where nobody picks on you. When you don't choose one of these, you got both of them not liking you. At least if you choose one or the other, you only have half of them not liking you. Get to the center, man. And that's what Jesus is talking about. When you choose to be in my consciousness, this world will come after you, and it will. And I'm not making you look forward to that or fear it. I'm just saying don't be surprised. Choose God, no matter what, and keep walking through. Anybody else on today? Yes?
Bringing every daily life decision and all aspects of it to my ideal or
Yes. Yes.
totally true.
You're a good soul, sweetie. You're a good soul to hear that. You got that. Take your daily choices to this compass. How does it weigh out? Not that you weigh things with a compass. It's a metaphor. How does it measure? How does it direct? Put it on the scale. How does it weigh? And when you have to start thinking, please watch yourself. Just a little justification, and I think I can make this work. Be careful. Because, we all try that. Okay, should I or shouldn't I marry them? Okay, wait, 2 out of 3. Should I? That we all have played that game, at least once. Wait, I'm going to let my pendulum decide. Yep, I should rob that bank. It's my right to have more prosperity. And all the souls and guides are going, stop, you're shaking the pendulum. You got to wait. Anyway, we're going to do our collection. Please be as generous as you can be. We greatly appreciate it. Our ushers will help with this. If ever you want prayer, our ushers are all chaplains. Our board members are all chaplains. We don't have segments of people that participate here that don't have to live up to the status and consciousness of being chaplains. To be chaplains, all the chaplains are trained on when there's issues and triggers, how to go here first. As human beings, there's a compulsion to go out here. But chaplains, our chaplains are trained, and it's their promise, agreement, is that they will go here first to look at things in life. So we have people that are willing to be awake and work on themselves. And we don't want board members to not have to do that, or chaplains to not have, or some other group, volunteers or employees. We like people to kind of, all move and groove in that consciousness, devotion to honesty and awareness and light. So we're going to do our love offering prayer. It's a prosperity blessing. It's on your papers in front of you. If you don't know the words, it's printed online for you as well. But together, from our hearts, let's repeat. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you. While they're doing that, it'll only take about a minute, and I'll share a couple quick announcements. For starters, we have to get our sprinkler system renewed, the emergency fire sprinkler system. We have to get that renewed, and it's about $1,000. It's about $1,000. So we would appreciate any extra donations towards that. You can give those in the office. You can email them in. You can mail them in. You can put them in the basket. The bags are for your donations. The baskets are more for extra donations you might give towards that particular project. Also, today is our annual member meeting. If you're a member, you received minimum twice, a letter asking you to renew your membership. If you're saying, I never got that, you did. It's in your spam of your email, so you need to go in there and drag it to your new mail and click and open it and respond to it. That way you're telling your supposedly intelligent email company what it should be deciding for you. You got to decide for yourself. So get in there and open that up. And if you're an active member, you can attend, but it's only for active members. Also, if you're interested, we have crystal beds sessions. We book those. They're every day of the week. They're available, but it's the yurt out here. We have a crystal bed in there, and it's very, very amazing cosmic experiences people have in there. Keep in mind our book and gift store over here. We're really grateful about how things are going in the bookstore. We don't choose every book on the planet. We choose the best ones. Yogananda and all these really, really great teachings, metaphysics, psychic development, Native American, a lot of different topics. But you don't pay taxes in there on anything. But also all of our gift items, we don't multiply by 2 and 3 and 4 for the items like some stores do or choose to do or have to do. So we keep everything pretty affordable. So you do really well by shopping in there, and you help us as well. Let's see. We have a brief meeting once a month for anyone who's interested in becoming a member. I don't know why that's highlighted. We did that last week. Lastly, join me for the Power of Conscious Prayer. So next weekend, next Sunday after service, it's the 15th from 12 to 3, we have a Power of Conscious Prayer, and that'll be held in the sanctuary here, but it's also on Zoom. And you can watch it there once, or you can watch it at any time once you've registered for it. But the Power of Conscious Prayer, it's a really, really wonderful workshop. It's not just just devotional prayer, although that's there. It's all about prayer, what it does, how to use it properly and to the highest consciousness, and manifestations for that matter. Okay? How's everybody feeling? Good? We have our member meeting. If you're a member, please be sure to stay after service and join us. There'll be a brief chaplain prayer. If anybody's asking for prayer, you can sit in the room and just kind of soak it in, because our chaplains are very powerful with the prayers they do. Jeff, our lead chaplain and lead usher, will be leading that. All right? Please stand for our closing prayer. You had a lot of really great requests, and I prayed that I covered as many of them as I could in weaving things into the talk today. And remember, one of you, for example, sadness in the last week or two, rage came up today. These are all totally fine to feel, guys. I'm not saying it brings you bliss. What I'm saying is, before you can find bliss, before you find peace and joy and all these wonderful sublime words, you also have to be willing to deal with other feelings. Sadness, bring them to somebody and work with them. Rage, take a pillow, lay on a bed and throw a tantrum and kick your feet till you can't kick them anymore and scream into a pillow. Get it all out. Then buy a new pillow. But get it out of your system. I understand. I do. And we do. We understand that this world can bring up a lot of really hard feelings. You're not wrong for having them, but it would be insane to want to keep them. Spiritually insane. So let's find love for you. Let's find the peace of God. I'm sorry for the hurt that brought you sadness, depression, rage, low self-worth, and all the things that this world seems to offer. And Jesus says, here you're going to have those things, but I have overcome the world. So focus on me, he's saying. Focus on love. Focus on the Divine Mother, the Holy Spirit. Jesus called it the Comforter. I leave you with the Comforter. Call on her. Mother, help me. I'm feeling such and such, but I know that's not your will. Help me to feel what you want from me. Love, peace, happiness, self-worth. And we stand together in this. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are.